The United States is the most propagandized country in the world. How can they convince people that they are siding with Nazis, but they're the good guys? I did not think they could do that. I did not. If you asked me 2 years ago if they could do that, I was like, what? Even after the war on terror, even after witnessing all the crazy propaganda I have done, I am still shocked at what they managed to pull off with the Ukraine war and how they managed to completely fry the brains of the entire liberal class, the entirety. So the argument was always weak, but the people who want to make the argument that the Democratic Party and liberals and their allies are anti-racist, that shit is dead. And I said this in a stream a few days ago. Bernie Sanders and the NATO left has no idea how much they tarnished their legacy. I still can tell they don't know the backlash. They still don't get it. They're still out of touch. They don't know that this shit's going to follow them forever. You guys sided with Nazis after, and then this is incredible to me because this is after years under Donald Trump when they said, punch a Nazi. We got to punch a Nazi. We got to resist Trumpism because Trump is a Nazi. Trump supporters are Nazis. We can't march with these people. We can't be friends with these people because we have to draw a hard line in the sand against Nazis. Oh my God, we can't attend the March for America for All because there are Nazis there. Wasn't true, but these are things they will say to get workers to distrust each other, for us to not organize with our neighbors. So they were like, you can't organize these people. They're Nazis. They're Trump supporters. After years of saying this is why this is my favorite story I've ever seen. Seeing the NATO left fall for this and seeing these people rob themselves of all of their credibility. So one of the key parts of justifying support for Ukraine, which is disgusting. I explained it to a friend of mine when they asked me, like, why you got a position on Ukraine you do? Like, isn't it bad that Russia invaded Ukraine? I'm like, dude, you can have that position while having the position I do. Everyone who's whitewashing, that Azov battalion that purged Romani people, regularly attacked black people, banned the Russian language, that has killed over 14,000 people in the Donbass, and they often torture, capture, and imprison people who were speaking out against the Kyiv Western regime. These people are Nazis with a capital N. So people who play along with whitewashing them are people I do not forgive, because what do you call someone who apologizes for a Nazi, that supports funding a Nazi? That is a Nazi collaborator. You guys want to am I going to forget that as a communist? Liberals and social democrats want us as communists who have been enemies of Nazis since the foundation and start of Nazism. They want us to be okay with Nazi collaborators. No, sir. No, ma'am. Marianne Wilson, dead on arrival because she got this wrong. You got morons, fucking idiots still pushing her. And they wonder why RBN responds to them the way we do. You're pushing a Nazi collaborator. I'm going to show you guys why. Am I being too harsh? The DHS concerned over Nazis returning to the United States after fighting in Ukraine. Why isn't the media? Why isn't Bernie Sanders? Why isn't why isn't Marianne Williamson? And another one, this is something that Ro Khanna used to care about. Oh shit, I got to turn my ad block off. Hold on 1 second. Come on, the nation. Come on. This is something that Ro Khanna, God damn, this site sucks, used to speak out against. He spoke out against Congress funding Nazis and removing a ban. Ro Khanna tweeted about this, that we should not be funding the Azov neo-Nazi Azov battalion. And then he deleted the tweet. Nothing more damning in politics. JB, what's more damning than that? He spoke out against Nazis, and then you switch sides. And then you delete all evidence that you was against the Nazis. What's worse?
Did anybody ever ask him that? I know he goes on independent media a lot. Has anybody ever asked him that question that you know of? Anybody? I don't.
Wait, let me ask this question. How is a brown man going to retract that tweet?
Yeah. There should be no interviews that Ro Khanna does where that does not get brought up.
Right.
No peace without when you're doing this shit, okay? And that's the NATO left in general. No peace. No, David Schroeder, you don't let AOC skirt this shit by. He said Ukraine once in the interview and never brought it up again. after he let you AOC to skirt by this giant issue. You interviewing a Nazi collaborator, but you like that giant elephant in the room. You don't want to bring it up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, look, people talk about, oh, we don't want Nazis to come back. Nazis never left. What the hell y'all talking about?
Exactly.
I mean, my thing is like, look, y'all still praising the grandson of Prescott Bush, that over him getting a piece of candy from a black woman. Y'all whitewashing his image, even though he contributed to the death of literally over 1 million Iraqis. And you guys want to talk about, oh, well, we don't want Nazis to come back. Look at the United States hegemony over the entire world. I argued that the United States is actually a vehicle of Nazis in order to take over the entire world. And now that the world is banding against the undercurrent of Nazism that is within our government, then now the Nazis are getting scared. And now because they're losing their hegemony over the world. So but y'all ain't ready for some of y'all. A lot of y'all in our area, you guys are ready. Y'all already did have that conversation, but some people aren't ready for that conversation. Some of these people are not ready for the conversation that we had Nazis in NASA, or we had Nazis within other different sectors of our government, but yet they were in there, up and through there. So guess what? You guys can talk about, oh, we don't want Nazis to come back. They've been around you and ruling over you this entire time. Look into Operation Paperclip, baby.
Now, the reason why I'm doing this story like this first, because we're going to have some fun talking about Mark Hamill here, who's a victim of the propaganda that is key for the West to keep support going. So what have they been doing since the start of this war? It is crucial for the West and their propaganda allies to whitewash Nazis in Ukraine, because the general populace, because we make fun of liberals, but even people who vote Democrats, they're not liberals. They just vote our traditions. There's actually probably a small percent. I'll say maybe 20% of people are liberals. That's a very small percent, and that may be overestimating it. Amount of people are liberals. So if they knew that they were supporting hardcore Nazis, they knew that would be one of the quickest ways to turn public sentiment against the war. So our Western media and the NATO left decided to do the indefensible. Whitewash them. Instead of them being neo-Nazis in the New York Times, they are far right. I covered that before. You guys, there's a scale back. And when you call out AOC and the squad, and there have been many examples of this, Jamal Bowman, and you say you're funding Nazis in Ukraine, they said, oh, me? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No. So their job is to lie to people about what side the West is on. The West is on the side of Nazis. I got more evidence. You got to see how Western media used to talk about this story. Then CNN in 2014. Let's watch this video. And before the massive PSYOP campaign that liberals, the progressive left, and many of the celebrities are taking part of. And this is why I'm leading with this first, because the Star Wars person is part of this PSYOP to whitewash these Nazis. Listen to this segment.
Petro Poroshenko will have a hard time winning back hearts and minds in this city. As the people of Donetsk sweep up the debris of their homes and livelihoods, they are hardened against the president they say is killing his own people.
Back in the day, CNN will admit it. The Ukrainian government is killing their own people. Then all of a sudden, Russia invaded, and all this history didn't happen anymore. This civil war didn't happen. Nazis in Ukraine didn't exist.
And we can't even legitimately call it an invasion when they was invited, like for years.
Yeah, that's a good point too. And that's another conversation as well. I was trying to keep it simple, but trust me, guys, Roman is 100% right here. But I was just keeping it simple. I'm gonna continue this video, not too long. This is CNN in 2014. This is how they used to cover it.
We are Ukrainian, but they take homes and livelihoods. They are hardened against a president they say is killing his own people. We are Ukrainian, but they kill us, this man says. So we probably need our own country. The people in Kiev, they are not brothers for us.
We need our own country because we are being led by the Nazi Azov Battalion. And whenever people in Western Ukraine, because people always say, oh my God, RBN Nick, you're being mean. You're saying all Ukrainians are Nazis. And I'm like, that is not what we're saying. That is like opposite of what we're saying. We're saying the people who are not Nazis in Ukraine have been politically terrorized by the political majority of the Nazis in Ukraine, the people who run the military, the people in the people in their government that had Nazi sympathies. That's the point. Those people that are being terrorized by Nazis have been erased by the NATO left and the people who support the Western point of view. But you see, this is this guy saying that we've been killed by our own government, so we want to be our own independent country. So what did Russia do? Russia supported having the Donbass be independent. That is what is the basis of this war, and Russia wants the West to respect that because these people don't want to be part of a government that was completely cool by the West and then legitimized using violent force. So anyway, I end my rant there because there's still a lot of bit to cover. I finished the clip, but you guys just chime in.
These homes days ago, but the tears are still fresh.
Или слава. 27-го, 28-го, 29-го очень сильно. Фактически мы живем под подвалом.
We live on the ground. It was so hard for 2 weeks, especially for 27, 28, 29th. But only today it's quiet.
Извините, я пойду.
Sorry, I need to go.
2 people were killed outside this block of flats last Wednesday. One of them was a 50-year-old woman, the other a 34-year-old woman. Her husband, who won't talk to us, he says he's in shock, managed to make it down to the cellar with their little child, but she just didn't have the time. And this is a story that repeats itself over and over in dozens of apartment blocks.
At that point, there was at 2,500. We knew at the number as of 2021 was 14,000. Estimate. Low estimate. God knows how many they killed who they viewed to be Russian sympathizers, right? So I cover all this for a reason. Now we get to the Mark Hamill part because there have been many evidence, so much supporting Ukrainian Nazis. And this video with Mark Hamill is perfect. Perfect. Because what do the NATO left say? What do the liberals say? Oh my God, you guys are blowing the Ukrainian Nazis out of proportion. Every country has Nazis. There's not that many Nazis in the military. So, despite the fact that they say there's not that many Nazis in the Ukrainian government, in the military, it's funny how they keep catching them. Isn't that funny? There's not that many Nazis in Ukraine, but we keep catching them on camera. What are the chances of this, guys?
That's not even a good comparison, man. Like, some of the right-wing groups here, I say probably is getting government funding for their militias or whatnot, but we don't have them. We don't recognize them in our armies. We don't recognize them as, like, that's not a good comparison. And all these people saying, oh, well, there's Nazis in America. You think Russia should invade America? Yes. Fuck, nigga. Fuck America. What I look like? Hell yeah. All these racist ass white people come and liberate their asses.
JB, I'll pass to you because I actually wanted to share the receipt too. I'm glad he brought it up. So, JB, I'll pass to you for this part.
Yeah. So I answered Mark Hamill from what he was saying. I was like, dude, do some research. Because this is Western media before February 2022. Look at all these articles. Ukraine celebrates Nazi collaborator, bans book critical of program's leader. Far-right fighters from Europe fight for Ukraine. Ukraine designates national holiday to commemorate Nazi collaborator. So they actually have national holidays dedicated to Nazis in Ukraine.
They were just called celebrating it again. Stefan Bandera got literally streets named after him. Imagine if you got a town that celebrates Hitler, you got streets named after him, and then people are like, hey, yo, what's that about? You're like, man, it's nothing. Stop worrying about it. Stop tripping. Yeah, we got a few Hitler statues.
A couple of hundred people.
Stop tripping. Sorry, JB, go ahead.
Yeah, it says Britain joins neo-Nazi militia in Ukraine. Ukraine's got a real problem with far-right violence, and no, RT didn't write this headline. Says Nazi symbols, salutes display at Ukrainian nationalist march. Bellingcat says, yes, it's still okay to call Ukraine C-14 neo-Nazi.
So
this is just a taste of what a lot of us have been saying, but a lot of people have not been paying attention. And it behooves people like us, Black people, to say, hey, maybe, just maybe, we should not want to be sending money to fund people who want us to die.
JB, don't give them niggas the benefit of the doubt. These motherfuckers paying attention. All they doing, we opening up the door. They trying to close the door because they are closet racist. They don't want to be blatant with the racism, but they know they want white supremacy alive and well. They know what we are out there for. We're using the Napoleon strategy of using Russia's back door. Ukraine. We want their resources. We want their army. We want to throw a coup. Let's be honest. Half of them want to kill Putin. Our citizens want Putin dead. We know why we're there. These people pay attention. They want white supremacy to stay like in power. Man, we are in jeopardy of losing world control, man. These white people are afraid. You know what I'm saying? The white people that's paying attention that want to save democracy in Ukraine. No. They're trying to save world domination and NATO from being stopped. They're trying to stop the USD from being taken over. This is what this is all about. Save white supremacy, please. So I won't have to be so racist or open with it myself.
So both of them are bad, guys. Both options are bad. Either Mark Hamill is lying and he's acknowledging that he's a dumbass who cares so much about an issue that he didn't look 1 second into. Or he knows they're Nazis, he's bullshitting, and he's just a Nazi collaborator. Both were pretty bad. And the thing with Mark Hamill is he's an interesting case in particular because, well, I'm about to show you, it's not the first time he's done this. So there are people in his comments. He's getting racial to oblivion, so we're not going to touch the comments for the most part. But a lot of them are saying, they were saying, Mark, we explained this to you multiple times at this point. Like, this is like the third time you went viral propping up Nazis. So at this point, you can't plead ignorance no more. So if you're told over and over again that, hey, man, you hanging out with Nazis, the first time you're like, man, holy shit, I didn't know, man. You'd be like, all right, cool. Simple. You didn't know they were Nazis, right? Second time you hanging out with them, hey, Nick, remember I told you they was Nazis. What are you doing? And you're like, oh shit, my bad, I forgot again. Well, and then let's say you're a good guy. You're like, okay, you forgot again. Give him benefit of the doubt. The third time you're like, all right, nigga, you choosing to hang out with Nazis. And that's Mark Hamill at this point. So I think I prepaid this way enough. So let's get into the story because I'm always
none of y'all are not going to put up if I don't recognize a flag. If I'm like, we're just doing this show, I would not just sit here and just be like, yeah, you guys, ha ha ha. I'll be Googling what the fuck is this flag? What this? Like, you're not
still playing dumb. He's still playing dumb.
Yeah, man, they playing dumb. He know what the fuck he doing.
So let's play the video. So I'm presenting this as a just in case people haven't been following this, right? So this was tweeted out by this account, who I actually haven't looked up. So what is it? The Initiative of the President of Ukraine, blue check account, superficial Ukraine account, Ukraine government account. I don't know what U24 is, to be clear, but apparently super Ukraine government op, right, account. So children of Ukrainian military adore Star Wars. I know they really looked up to that dark side. They saw that dark side shit. It was like, hell yeah. Anyway. So they asked Mark Hamill what was his favorite film in the saga. Listen to Mark Hamill's answer. So let's play the video, and I want you to pay attention to certain flags that kind of look like a black sun that Mark Hamill pretends he don't see. You don't fucking see that sun. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, let's.
Я хотів почати з висловлювання вдячності за ваш внесок в очі небі, який допомагає нам в боротьбі проти імперії в Україні.
We are all like Luke Skywalker, the Chewbacca, Leia, and Han Solo, the famous Jedi. We are fighting for a better future, just like all of us in the movies. Like, well, me even having like Leia vibes now a little bit now.
Well, I think.
So I want you guys to understand this, man, because the Azov Battalion is beside themselves. There's videos I covered like a few months ago with Azov guy on his social media. You know, they got their own social media club. Their own online echo chamber, right? So it was like, dude, this is crazy, man. The Western establishment is legitimizing our ideas. They're funding our campaign, our crusade. This is amazing. That was a video I covered. The NATO left didn't cover that. So you are meeting Luke Skywalker. And what do you decide to do? You are so proud about your beliefs. You're meeting your hero. You're meeting the motherfucker. And you're like, I gotta make sure it looks good. I gotta make sure I'm dressed up right. I gotta make sure the background and the environment is right. Put the black sun up. So, guys, it's not like a side belief. They're not some side shit. This is what they met their hero, and they wanted to lead with the black sun. That's what this is. Let's continue.
It's very relatable because it was basically a fable or a fairy tale for children.
And like he says, it portrayed someone who didn't have any particular skills. You know, Luke was just a farm boy, but by following his heart and doing the right thing, not for himself, but for all the people, he was able to succeed in a way that he never could have expected.
Also, I have a question. It's a question from my kids, because I have 3 kids, and every kid I'm growing up, we're going from the...
And I am fighting to make sure they live in an Aryan-only nation. I am fighting for my kids. I'm fighting for my bloodline. That's what he really means, and Mark Hamill doesn't realize it. This guy is fighting for a Russian-free, Slavic-free, Romanian-free society.
Star Wars story. And my girls asked me, what's your favorite film out of your filmography?
I also have 3 children. 2 of them like Star Wars. My middle son is like,
this is unbearable.
It's not for
This
me.
is unbearable.
But in terms of Star Wars, I was impressed with Empire Strikes Back.
I didn't actually watch
because
it.
it was
This is
deeper
unbearable.
and more cerebral. It's not hard to see the parallels between the Ukrainians being the rebels and Russia
All right,
being
I'm out.
the evil
Oh.
empire. It's,
Yeah, this is hard.
It's obvious.
And if we
I know you
talk
want to stop,
about
but I gotta let him
European,
finish now. I can't.
So France helps us
I can't
find
with this
the
man.
plans of the Death Star and find the weak point where we can attack the enemy and they occupied our territory.
Well, thank you, and keep up the good fight. You're fighting
The
the
good fight. He sees the
You're doing a
black
great-
sun. This man sees the black sun. He's like, "He's the good fight." Oh man, this is why I need to do this story after the shooting story, because this shit is gold.
Wait, pause it right there. 2 things. We see now how Hollywood plays an intricate part in propagandizing the population. They are intricately
exactly.
now. They typically like to do it in their movies, but when their movies aren't working and it's not working, you know, the rating, the approval rating for this war is going down and down by the week. So now they're having to just have them come out in real life and act like they're still playing a role. This guy is acting. He can't be this stupid. You can't be this stupid. He is acting for the state in order to do this. You can't be this stupid. That you can't be. I don't believe these people who don't see this stuff. I just don't. Go ahead.
That's such a great point, and that's another reason why I want to cover this story. Like, I'll tell you, all my funny stories has an underlying reason for it. The point of this story is the role that the Hollywood celebs play for the empire. This is Ashton Kutcher, a giant Hollywood star. I don't know celebrities like that, guys. I'm out of touch. But this is an old famous celebrity star. And he does all these promos. Look at this cover. If you guys can't see it, that cover says Central Intelligence Agency. And he tweeted out, just sending out a morning shout out to the men and women of the intelligence community that keeps us safe and protects our country. This is Hollywood brain rot. Who's that dude from The Office? You guys know that guy's name? He's a famous actor. Let me look. I'm gonna find The Office.
Wait, he's from the Office?
No, there's another guy I'm thinking of. The guy from The Office is another State Department.
Oh, you talking about Steve Carell?
John,
or are you talking about the white, the guy that plays the white? Yeah,
John Krasinski.
And
yeah,
that 70s.
Yeah,
here
that's
it
his
is.
name.
Here it is. So I put up just 2 examples. I can go all day on this, but I'm bringing this up because your point is great, CJ. That's another point I want to make on this segment. That's a big substantive part of this is the role that actors play to manufacture consent towards war and our intelligence agency. Let me refresh this. So I'll show you Ashton Kutcher, and this is this guy from The Office. This guy is a giant actor. I've seen The Office. A ton of people seen The Office, and this guy does nonstop CIA promos, just like Ashton Kutcher does. And in this article, I'm not going to read it, but it's there if you guys are interested. A brief history of John Krasinski, the Office guy, transformation into a guy who absolutely loves the CIA. So do you guys think that's a transformation? Or are you getting Hollywood and they say, we need you to do some promos for us if you want this shit to keep going?
And if you didn't know, this guy spun off because like we know him because we are a little bit older. We know him from The Office, but younger people know him from the new show he has on Amazon. It's like a blockbuster show. Yeah, where he plays a CIA agent in the show. This has been out for years. I'll get the name in a second.
I'm behind on pop culture.
Yeah, I'll get the name of it in just a second. I'm sure somebody in the comments has put it up there already. But I think it's on Amazon. And Jack Ryan. That's it. It's called. He's a CIA agent. He's been playing this for years. So young people know him as that.
That's crazy.
They play an intricate part, intricately tied. Ever since they start doing this with Edward Bernays, like they've been doing this for decades. They use in Hollywood to sell these propaganda, war propaganda.
Yeah, so I'm gonna show you guys this because I know you guys have got some segments you guys want to get into as well. So I'm gonna just move on to this part so we can get some other segments done because I'll show you guys the video. And Mark Hamill, this shit got 25,000 likes. Man, I know a lot of that is bots, but look, think about this: 80% of Twitter is bots. That's still thousands of people. Way too much for my liking that likes this shit, right? Maybe some like it because the irony is so brilliant that maybe they want to go back to it. Because I do that sometimes too. People probably be like, why the fuck you like it? Nah, just because I'm trying to go back. I might go back to it. But anyway, Mark Hamill said it was a pleasure meeting with, and check this out, the brave Ukrainian drone operator. I am asking you guys right now, what the fuck is a brave drone operator? A brave drone operator?
Yeah, I'm playing Red Dead. I might as well be an
arcade player. A brave.
I'm a cowboy.
They're not even the street. They operate the drones, and they're brave. These motherfuckers droning civilians and shit. The brave drone operator. See, my mind is decolonized enough. Well, I'm not even gonna call the Marines brave and shit. But at least that will make more sense. At least you doing war crimes on the ground, nigga. You got the knife, you got the blood on your hands, then you did the shit yourself.
Oh god.
Drone operators are the biggest bitch ass motherfuckers in the empire. The motherfuckers driving drones and killing people.
Said brave.
So anyway, there's so much side shit I can break down on this story. I keep going too long. But I'm one sentence in. Look how he leads. The brave Ukrainian drone operator.
Yeah.
I can't get past that. We've talked about the challenges they face on a daily basis. The challenges are just droning people and shit. But they also wanted to talk about wokies and farm boys and joys or what. This part doesn't matter at all. So this is one of many, and I'm highlighting the responses. Dude, this ratio is, I actually might show you guys a few. But this is the one where he responded.
Yeah, I would like to see a couple.
We can go through it. I just want to make sure I fit time for you guys' segments too. But this is Mark Hamill responding to this guy. So the fact that he responded to this, and I got a larger account, so I know if I respond to one, I read like 10. That's how it is. So imagine he way bigger than me. So if he responds to this, he reading a ton of people like, Mark, what the fuck, bro? And he decided to respond to this person. That's how it works. Here's Adam. Hey, Mark, I'm a big fan of yours, and it's really terrifying to see you not acknowledging the very obvious flag in this video. Very obvious. Not like I get people who miss patches and shit. Like you guys see the expose with patches and shit. Yeah. No, giant ass flag. I'm meeting my hero. I'm gonna have blacks. I want him to know who I am. Right? And look at this. I understand if you didn't recognize it. I know lots of people might not have, but it's been pointed out to you a lot. And your silence is really painful. So now, guys, why did he respond to that one? Because this is obviously someone who's in good faith, someone who likes Mark Hamill, and they bring up a devastating point, how this thing where you pleaded ignorance, that shit not going to work anymore because we keep pointing this shit out to you over and over again. So he has to respond to this one, and this is why I want you guys in on. And we can get to the end of the segment here soon. Here, Mark Hamill, I have no idea what that flag signifies. I'm just going to advertise it on my social media platform that has 5 million followers. But I don't have anyone that can look into that. Do you guys believe that? You don't have an intern. You're rich as shit, dude. You didn't make that video. You're not managing your social media. Like, you didn't know what that flag was. I don't buy it. But let's say I can give him the benefit of doubt. And let's say he did it. No. They are telling you now, Mark. So despite people telling him that you are promoting Nazis, his response is, my support is simply for Ukraine or the Russian invasion, period. This is him doubling down on ignorance. And you guys can come up with your own conclusion why he's doing that. But to me, I think he's lying. He knows he's supporting liberals. People told him, I mean, not liberals, the way he is, but he's supporting Nazis. So now he's gonna say, "Oh, I'm not paying attention to that. I'm just supporting the Ukraine government." No, this is him working backward from conclusion to justify why he's doing PR for the Nazi Ukrainian army because he was given orders to. Or hell, sometimes it's really simple as people just want to be a good class warrior. You want to be a good class warrior. When you see the Ukraine war going on, you're not even giving any benefits, but Mark Hamill sees his class pushing it. So he's like, man, I want to make sure I play a role in this. I got a lot of theories. We never know exactly what it is. I'm just showing you guys some theories. Well, I think it could be. But Rome, JB, I know I went long in the story. How to break down, but go ahead, guys, if you guys want to chime in. And I know CJ want to go through some responses, but I know he had to step out. But I'll put some responses on the screen, but I'll pass it to you guys if you guys want to respond while I do that.
Yeah, I got something to share.
Oh, never mind. Go ahead, share. Go ahead.
Yeah, because I want you guys to see something. I find it kind of funny how Mark Hamill is like, I don't know what that sign means, blah, blah, blah. Anybody who watches Star Wars, and yes, I watch Star Wars. I actually love Star Wars because really, by the way, first of all, before I even show this, I have not heard anything from George Lucas, regarding this. By the way, George Lucas actually had the Empire as a allegory to the Nazis in Germany, as well as the rebels were the Viet Cong. He fashioned the rebels as the Viet Cong. So Luke Skywalker and all of them were actually, fashioned as the rebels in Vietnam. But I want you guys to look at something. This is the sign of the Galactic Empire in Star Wars. What does it look like to you?
That should look fashy as hell.
Look like the Black Sun, don't it? Wait, there's the Black Sun. There's the Empire symbol. Quite interesting. So to me, it's like, Mark, are you bullshitting us? That sounds like you bullshitting us. Because the thing is, like, you can be like, oh man, I just didn't know. And it's like, okay, but listen to the people. But you're not, because you're not interested. You rather be blind and then say, and then have plausible deniability. Oh, I didn't know, rather than actually being on the side of the people who you were acting in the movie fighting against.
And look at it. I'm sorry, go ahead, JB. My bad.
White supremacy been good for him, so he's gonna do whatever the hell it takes to stay in that position. And these people are not gonna blatantly say it out loud, like, we want to keep the world in America's hands. But this is what this is all about. CIA is pushing out all of their puppets, not only actors. They have TikTok influencers that's visiting the White House pretty soon and having their own little class inside of the White House to propagandize the younger generations. This, man, they send out fucking everybody. This is war. This is war of the minds. This is war on the ground. This is war in the skies. War in the seas. War means war, and we have to get your mind in order to get your body. I can't tell your body what to do without telling your body, without telling your mind, and you have to be fully brainwashed in order for to make those moves for me. And this is what they are doing to the people. Yeah. Like you can say, "Oh, I didn't know," but now that you know, what are you going to do with the information? You still going to support them? Okay, well, you support Nazis, right?
Yeah. Right. So if you're told over and over again that you support Nazis and you continue to support them, you are a Nazi collaborator. These are language that communists use, guys, and we need to use that. Bernie Sanders is a Nazi collaborator. That hurts to say, but that's how people used to speak of people who support Nazis, and we need to bring it back. Because somewhere along the line, people start believing it's socially acceptable to just be okay and cool with Nazis. That's okay. And now look at this. I'm glad, and this is like I'm glad I decided to read some of the responses because I found this earlier, and I'm desperate to read this. This is the mindset of a shitlip. So this is Rob. Mark, I know you think you are helping and doing a good and positive thing. So I don't mind his take here because he gave him a lot of benefit that I wouldn't, but that's fine. He said, I know you think you're helping and doing a good and positive thing here, but the guys you're talking to have a Nazi flag. Like, and you guys see he was reading responses because you see people say this stuff. Now, look, I will show you guys. This guy got Rachel to oblivion. I'm glad I can show you guys this because I saw this earlier. This is the mindset of liberals, Rome. This guy said, there's still Ukrainians fighting Russian invaders. The Nazi ideology can be defeated after the war through dialogue.
And they be looking so crazy. That's when we say liberals gave you Hitler. Liberals gave you Hitler. This is like in color, we should say. This is how liberals gave you Hitler. This is how they will always side with fascism over communism or socialism in every fucking turn, man. You think, God, like we just talked about this on Twitter. They would cut off their friends and family for voting for Trump, but these people can prop up Nazis, and not only grown Nazis. They was talking about arming children in Ukraine in the beginning of the war just for them to have enough bodies and enough fighters out there. I remember this shit, man. These people are sick. These people are sick in the head, but they know what they are doing, man. They are just just willing to fight to the last Ukrainian. They are really willing to fight to the last Ukrainian.
This guy said they can change the liberal plan is to change the heart and mind of the Nazis through being nice to them. Hey, if we just be nice to these Nazis, maybe they will stop hating Russians and black people. Let's debate them out of it. That's the liberal position, JB. Like, I'm having fun. The statement's almost over. I'm gonna read the response. You guys speak on it because Rome, you were just talking about this. This guy, this is the highest response I see to this. There are a lot of people destroying this guy for this, but this guy says, Alex says, this is why liberals consistently end up as collaborators. They convince themselves that empowering and arming Nazis is just a necessity, and they will totally hand the tanks back to them when shown the logical inconsistency of their racism. So the liberals believe they can give the Nazi tanks and weapons, but then they just wag their finger at them. Hey, stop being mean, Nazi. Bring the tank back. And they're like, yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. We will do that. That is the mindset of a Bernie Sanders in the modern age, guys. So I know this segment been long, so I'll give you guys last reaction, and then not JB. If you got a segment, you can do one if you have one. But JB, thoughts?
Yo, it's crazy. It's like, okay, which one would you rather have a dialogue with, a Nazi or a commie?
Yes, they won't do it. They don't want to do dialogue with us. They don't dialogue with us
because we show how
and yet you're sitting there wanting to have dialogue with a Nazi. Like, what the fuck did we go to war for in World War II? What in the hell?
If it wasn't for the tankies, these motherfuckers be speaking German.
Grandfathers all the time about them fighting and defeating Nazis, and yet you're making excuses. So basically, you're telling me that the people who fought against Germany and the Nazi Party, they died in vain? Is that what you're telling me? You're saying screw your grandfathers and great-grandfathers and great-grandmothers? Or is that what you're telling me?
Essentially.
Are you telling me screw the Jews? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, they already genocide deniers. They've been denying the 14,000 that's been killed by the Ukrainians. Like, these people are just sick, and they know it. They know it. I remember that one lady in Palestine. She was watching them buying ganja strips. She's like, I'm a little bit of a fascist. They sit on a hill and watch these people get bombed to death, bro.
That's why I remember when I first started the segment, I said the United States is the most propagandized country in the world. They got people so propagandized they think they can have dialogue and convince the Ukrainian Nazis to be on their side. Their propaganda is so intense, they allow Mark Hamill to make an ass out of them in this way.
They don't have dialogue with us because look what happens when we have dialogue. We show them what their true intentions are. You know how neoliberalism get us here every time. Yep. How empires fall because of these systems that they have built of neoliberalism, slavery, capitalism. They cannot have those conversations with us because we're going to make them look like straight up Nazi collaborators, which they are. You support NATO, you support Ukraine, you support all this bullshit that's going on. You support the police. Like these people, fuck calling out the Nazis in Ukraine. They can't even call out the Nazis that's in the police forces in America. When we have actual proof data of these motherfuckers being in terrorist groups, having matching tattoos and all kind of shit, all kind of alumni around America, and they like, oh well, those just a couple of bad apples. But listen, right? Because they even admit it. It's just a couple of bad apples. But what do a couple of bad apples do to a whole barrel of fucking apples, right? It spoils the barrel or it spoils the bunch, however the fuck the saying goes, right? But these people, they know in their hearts they do not want to see society change. They do not want to see Russia actually gain power. They don't want to see China become the number one superpower because we got to think about it, y'all. America has gotten away with so much shit. We killed Gaddafi. We killed all types of leaders, man. We are losing that power to go unchecked. Do you know how it feels to lose power that you can just go around the world and smash whatever the fuck you want? You can Donkey Kong whatever land you want, take whatever resources, whatever gold, kill the shit out of Afghanistan's pet, whatever the fuck, wherever the fuck. We're losing that power, and these people are afraid for their lives, man. And you should be, because our lives are going to change drastically, but it's going to be better for the world overall. Because we have been hoarding these resources. We have been hoarding all kind of shit from this world and taking what we don't even need at the time. You know, just greed. And we're losing that power to be greed. And once what they say, it ain't no fun when a rabbit got the gun.